We've got a challenge from Carl this week, which is a nice thing to see. So what we're doing is we're making use of source row number that exists in the input step. So we have July orders and August orders of books from different stores. And so if I just have a view of that data, ignore the source row number for now. In the original data, we don't have that, but the order that these books are purchased in is important for knowing basically which orders happened first. So in our input step, we go ahead and we see this source row number field. When you bring in your data initially, this is automatically not included in your data. So in order to include it, it's just a simple case of going to the source row number field and saying include that field, please. And then that works. So then we do the same with our August orders and we union together these two data sets so that we have the source row number, the customer, the book, the quantity, and this table names here. Initially it makes us feel like let's get rid of that, but actually it has our July or August in there. So we do want to keep this so that we can make sure that we keep the date associated with those orders there. So in order to extract the August or the July, we're just going to use the automatic split in Tableau Prep. It's pretty good at recognizing what the common characters are between values. And so that's what we do here. We use that automatic split and you can see the lovely calculation that it wrote underneath. Look how many splits there are nested in there. But it gets us what we want. We get August and we get July. Which is wonderful. We just rename that field to be our month and then we're ready to create our date. So I was a little bit lazy with how I was going to create my date. I thought, I don't really want to have to associate the month name with the month number, sorry. So I just thought, how about if I add 2023 to the end of this? So just a literal calculated field that says month plus in inverted commas space 2023, and then if I change this to a date data type, then it is magic in Tableau Prep. That just works. So that's what I did there too. Next up, we're trying to do our sequence ID. So that's using the fact that we know which month these books were purchased in. We know the order they were purchased in from the source row number. How can we combine that information into a sequence ID? And the way that we do that is with a rank function. So we're going to go to, say, for example, the source row number, which I've removed in this step. So going to the source row number, going to create a calculator field and rank, and making sure that we're ranking not only on the source row number in ascending order, but also we want to have that date in there as well. So we can't actually rearrange those. Actually, I want the first one to be the date and then the second one to be the source row number to make that work. So it looks at each date individually first. So I've just gone and done silly things there. Let me just expand this sequence ID that we have so that we can see we've got the date in ascending order and then the source row number in ascending order, and then that is how we want that sequence ID to look. Next up, we're going to use one of the other new features of 2023.2, which is difference from. So this time we're going to be going to our quantity field. We're going to be going to create calculator field and difference from. And this time we need to know what the order is. That's that sequence ID that we just created. We want to group that by the customer and by the particular book as well. And then what that's going to do is look at, if we make sure that's going in ascending order, it's going to take the quantity from the first purchase and minus off the quantity from the second purchase to see, sorry, other way around there, the quantity of the second purchase minus the quantity of the first. That's the difference from, of course, as you can see there through a helpful calculation assistant, and that gives us our bigger order calculation. Okay, so that's all that I've done in this step here. So making sure book and customer are in there and doing that difference from previous value. So that is it for that challenge. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you got to that same output too.